Is there a better place than a library? Well, technically you can still scroll on TikTok with your headphone, but I'll be judging you. And I was like, let's just call it the library hunter for a while until I come up with something better, but I never did. There has been this constant search for information throughout human history. In the beginning of time, it was like looking for a flower in the desert. However, in today's world of information overload, we're still looking for that flower, but instead, we live in a jungle filled with potential danger, fake information, or attention traps. When in doubt, go to the library, says J.K. Rowling in the novel Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Unlike Google, the library may not give you an immediate answer to everything, but it helps you navigate this vast world of information in various ways. The act of physically going to the library sets a clear boundary between deep brain work and other activities. Well, technically you can still scroll on TikTok with your headphone, but I'll be judging you. Just kidding, you do whatever you like. But statistically, having other people around you who are also focused on their tasks can help create a more conducive environment. The open space of a library can instantly shift the mindset to focus on reading and thinking. So if you struggle with your attention span, all you need to do is to go to a dedicated space, slow down and refresh your brain for deep work with minimum distraction from scrolling. Is there a better place than a library? Speaking of fast scrolling, I recently learned about a concept called screen inferiority. It means when you read on a screen, either your phone or iPad, it's actually harder for your brain to comprehend and remember compared to reading on a paper. This is because when we read on a screen, we tend to skim through the information quickly instead of reading it carefully. Digital content is almost everywhere in today's world, and we do need this convenient access to information. But to counteract its negative effect, we need to balance our screen time versus reading on paper to keep our brains sharp enough to process complex information and to be able to imagine creatively. And for me personally, I enjoy reading physical books because I love the sense of touch and visual mapping. You can see and feel how far you are through this book, which has been very helpful for me to map the plot structure and to understand the logical flow across the chapters. I always feel naturally drawn to libraries, not just a specific one, but all of them. I like to share interesting and unique design facts that I discover in different libraries as I travel. I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but I do very much appreciate the beauty and thoughtfulness of library architectures because they were designed in specific ways to enhance the experience of readers. I also love exploring how different cultures and time periods have influenced on the design of libraries and how these spaces have changed and adapted over the years to meet the evolving needs of society. Winston Churchill once said, "We shape our building, thereafter they shape us." A lot of libraries have been renovated over the years, providing more open spaces for reading, innovation labs, public services, in addition to the traditional book stacks. So you can actually get a lot of things done here in one day, such as attending workshops or events, or using the technology resources for your own personal creative projects, or just simply find a cozy spot to read and study. If you believe in lifelong learning, then you need to go to the library because it's like a university but more approachable, more inclusive. It offers you more freedom to customize your education and to take control of your lifelong growth. So I started this channel in 2023. I had no experience as a content creator. I just wanted to share my hobby as I love exploring libraries. And I was like, let's just call it the library hunter for a while until I come up with something better. But I never did. And in fact, I decided to stick with this name because a quote from Neil Gaiman really resonated with me on this. Please bear with me, I know I quote Neil a lot, but he's one of my favorite authors. And I quote, "The entirety of human history is categorized by the hunt for information, as if we are searching for a flower in the desert. In today's world of information overload and 24/7 news, we're still looking for that flower. But now we're looking for the flower in the jungle. The jungle may be written with poisonous snakes, or something that looked like the flower that you are looking for may not be a flower at all, but actually something quite dangerous or fake." The name Library Hunter captures the message that I hope to deliver through my channel, and it has now become a part of my own identity. Speaking of identity, seeing oneself as a reader can always bring like-minded people together. Video platforms with the hashtag BookTok or BookTube are getting more and more young people committed to reading. And if you follow the trend of algorithm and pick the right book, a short video of book review can easily get millions of views. And on the other hand, there has been criticism of BookTok or TikTok as a superficial platform that diminishes the core value of reading. For young adults who are still developing their self-identity, it is extremely dangerous for them to use BookTok as their only source in terms of what books to read. As readers, our identity is often influenced by the books we choose to read. The genres, the authors, the themes, whatever attracts our attention can ultimately shape who we are and what we value. That is why we need to go to the library. By browsing the shelves and taking the time to select the books by their contents, we are actively shaping our own taste of books, not just by some Instagrammable covers, marketing strategy, or a mysterious algorithm. Now, we all have different tastes in books, or you can say a certain type of books that you feel most comfortable to read. For example, it can be fiction, nonfiction, mystery, romance, fantasy, you name it. Reading is like working out in a gym. Our brains need regular intellectual exercise to keep them sharp. You need to have a clear training plan in mind because when you work on your stronger muscle, it feels fulfilling. But when you work on your weaker muscle, it's not as fun. You are putting in more efforts but seeing slower progress. But in the end, it's your weakness that sets your limit. And that's the same for our brain muscle. We all have our comfort zones. For me, I typically like to read nonfiction and science fiction, but once in a while, I also like to explore new genres like mystery, romance, manga, or even children's books. I think it's a pretty rewarding experience because it opens up new dimensions of perspectives and imagination. Another thing about the analogy of training for muscle is that you need to keep an eye on your diet. This is when we need to engage critical thinking. We all have limited amount of time to read, so we need to make sure that we're not wasting our time reading junk food or some books that are actually poisonous. That is why we need to go to the library. Here you can explore a wide range of books and discover new perspectives, but not fully committed to any of the books just yet. We get to take our time, sit down, flip through a few pages, and then decide whether it's worth of our time or not. A book is like a dream you hold in your hand. If we agree on that, then it's time to think about what kind of dreams you hope to envision. Not just the dream in 20 years from now, but also the dream that you hope to see tonight. This is Kathy, a library hunter. See you next time. Bye!